Amen. Amen. Now, I'm going to go ahead and read today's life need for today's lesson. Fairness and philanthropy are most apparent during times of great tragedy and loss. I'm not insulting anybody's intelligence, but philanthropy, when we think of it, we think about business and wealth, right? But you can have 2 cents in your pocket and still be philanthropic. Because philanthropic means showing charity. It means being of service. It means helping somebody whenever you see a need for help. As Minister Lasita Cooper-Moore was saying earlier in her message. So you always have an opportunity to let your light shine. But, yeah, let God's light in you shine. So I just want to specify that. Because anytime you put your name in there, it should only be in service to the Lord. If you don't put that in there, then you're trying to unknowingly or knowingly elevate yourself, which is a sin, and that's one of our biggest sins. It's so easy for us to do it, so that's why we always fall into it. Hey, if you want to throw I in there, I serve the Lord. How may I be of service? Okay. Now, Bible learning. God expects His people to be just, faithful, and show mercy. Once again, what's your definition of just? Is it just according to you, or is it just according to what God will have us do? Okay. Mercy, that's an easy one, but do you know what mercy is? Mercy is giving somebody a break. Mercy is lending a helping hand. Mercy is, even if you can't help, maybe you know somebody that can. So point them to that direction. You ain't got to be the one to help. You might have helped just by pointing them to help. That's help, Okay. Faithful, that goes without saying. If you're having a bad day, it might be easier for you to be faithful. But when you're flying high, yeah, that's when your faith might be tested, because you have a tendency to forget how you got that high. You want some company when you're low, but you want to be a solo performer when you're up there all by yourself. You want everybody to look at you. No, that's not when you want to do that. Show mercy. Okay. All right. Now, our background scriptures come from Malachi 3 and 10, which is our lesson, Matthew 7, chapter 7, verse 12, and Psalm chapter 24, verse 1 and 11. Now, if somebody would somebody please read Psalm chapter 24, verses 4 through 11 for me, please. I'll wait, and when you got it and you want to join in and help out, just give me a signal, and I'll either bring you the mic or just get everybody to let you know. Anybody? Psalm chapter 24, verses 4 through 11. I apologize. Psalm chapter 24, verses 4 through 11. And the reason I'm going through these background scriptures is because they will tie in very well with our lesson. Yes. Who's ready? Okay, now I'm gonna bring the mic over to you, because you got a lovely voice, but it's you're a good teacher and everything, but you kind spoken.
Psalms 24.
Yep.
Okay, there's 4 through 10.
4 through 11.
No, there's only 10.
Okay, then just go to 10.
All right. Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
He who has clean hands and a pure heart, who has not lifted up his soul to an idol, nor sworn deceitfully, he shall receive blessing from the Lord and righteousness from the God of his salvation. This is Jacob, the generation of those who seek him, who seek your face, Salah. Lift up your heads, O you gates, and be lifted up. Be lifted up, you everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in. Who is the King of glory? The Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle. Lift up your heads, O ye gates, lift up, you everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in. Who is the King of glory? The Lord of hosts. He is the King of glory. Selah.
Amen. Thank you. Ooh. Tell us what Selah means to you. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, you say it. Come on. You had it. Come on. Quit being shy. Go ahead.
And so be it.
Huh?
This is,
As she quietly, shyly saying, Selah means shall be, lift up and sing praise. Okay. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Okay. So y'all probably wonder why I had her read that. So I guess I better explain myself. See, today's lesson is return to a just God. Now, this is following up from chapter 2, when Malachi was trying to get the people to do the right thing. Once again, he was a prophet of the Lord. Lord sends the prophets out there to get us back on the right foot, to foretell us that, hey, you need to change your ways because you're not following him. And, you know, they're coming back from exile. So they still trying to build the temple again and everything. But they still carrying on the same stuff that got them into what got them into this. That's why the two kingdoms fell in the first place. And as usual, God is merciful, and he's a lot more patient than us, thank goodness. You know, and he send us teachers or mentors or lesson prophets, you know. But, man, we just can't get right. So this is what's going on here. And this lesson is actually taken off on what was going on in chapter 2, Malachi 2, verse 17. We'll get to that in a second, okay? So, light on the word. Let's see. I'm going to say with introduction. The prophets speak. Malachi was written during the post-exilic period. This was the time after the Jews returned from exile in Babylonia to rebuild their nation and their temple of God. Malachi was a contemporary of Zechariah and Haggai. All three prophets were concerned with the people's neglect and complacency, neglect and complacency, concerning the worship of God and the people's repetition of the sins and injustice that caused them to be scattered in the first place. Like I was saying, they didn't listen. God kept giving them chances, and he's like, okay, well, now I got to punish y'all, so they still haven't learned. He also, injustice, okay. Malachi spoke out against a corrupt priesthood. That's leaders of the church. Okay, I know y'all don't like me to hear it, but our Sadducees and Pharisees is been given different titles. Okay. He also, which was shown in the neglect of the worship, particularly in withholding tithes and sacrificial offerings. This meant that the priests who officiated worship were not adequately provided for. It also meant that worship was not continuous and therefore not a priority among the majority of the people. Now, I will say, and we fall into this error sometimes too, tradition and ceremony. Are we worshiping God just going through the motions, or are we actually getting in the Word and trying to embrace the Spirit? Let's see. Malachi condemns this attitude and announced that God's messenger will come to refine his people so that they worship him in righteousness. Okay. That being said, who would like to read verse 1? Anybody? Okay, I'll read it. Okay, nope. Okay, there we go. I got two distinguished gentlemen reading it. Go ahead. I heard that distinguished gentleman up in the front say first, so go ahead. Please regale us with your magnanimous voice. Go ahead. Now, did everybody hear that beautiful voice he had? No? Hold up, I'm going to help him out. It's okay. I heard you, but I got them dog ears and stuff. That's one of my glasses. Go ahead, sir. Please, go ahead.
Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. And the Lord, whom ye seek, shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant, whom ye delight in. Behold, he shall come, saith the Lord of hosts.
Well, don't give it away yet, because, that's your verse, so I'm going to let you, share it with
You asked me to read. You didn't ask me to give my interpretation.
Okay, well, I'm doing a follow-up request. Go ahead. So what does that mean to you, sir?
Basically, what that means to me is you prepare yourself, because when the Lord comes to visit, you need to be able to understand his message and follow the guidance of the covenant, so that you would delight in his blessings and his guidance.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. Now, question for the congregation: do we have a covenant with the Lord today? Yes. All right, I got one yes. We in agreement? Yeah, we do. And I like how you explain that too, because, like you said, hey, get ready. That's why we're in Sunday school. That's why you have your Bible. See, you don't have to be in Sunday school to get ready. That's why all our elders be telling us, hey, study yourself, so show yourself approved, so that when we get together, you can be a help to one another, You can be the light, or somebody else might be shining a light on you. You know, it's not about pride. It's about seeking the Lord, you know. And this verse, I know you got something in the back, so I'm going to come to you. So let me get to it, and then you come and admonish me and let me know I'm off on the wrong foot. Okay, I got you. Now, this first verse is Malachi being announced by God. It's like, hey, I'm coming. You wanted me to come. I'm gonna send my messenger, and he gonna give you my words. You know, he gonna give you my words. You know, behold, I will send my messenger. See, this is God speaking, because the messenger is Malachi, and he shall prepare the way before me. And the Lord whom you seek, God is referring to himself, shall suddenly come to his temple, because it is his temple, even the messenger of the covenant whom you delight in. Behold, he shall come, saith the Lord of hosts. So God is big. What you got for me? Come on, give me something. You shine a light on the lesson too. That's why I'm coming to you. Knowledge held is not knowledge, because only you got it. You got to spread it out to us.
Okay, in this one verse, it was referring to multiple people. Where it says, behold, I will send my messenger. The messenger, this can be referring to multiple people. It can be either, yes, could be John the Baptist as well as Malachi. Okay. But it points to John the Baptist. I just need to set a certain spot. It points to John the Baptist because he says he will prepare the way before me. That's speaking of Jesus. Okay. And when Jesus went into the temple, he sat down and had conversation with the scribes and the Pharisees. And at the age of 12, he left them befuddled or astounded at his knowledge of the scripture at 12 years old. Okay, and then at the very end, where it says, behold, he shall come, saith the Lord of hosts. Now that's speaking of God the Father himself speaking there. So that's the three different people, but it could have been four. It depends on how you want to view it.
Thank you. Now, see, that's why I bring everybody in, because everybody was correct. You know? And it was. He could have been talking about John the Baptist, because John the Baptist was the messenger that came to announce Jesus coming. Yep, create the way, right? And he was also talking about Malachi, because Malachi is the one giving the message right now. Yeah, at that time, you're right. Right now is that time. Okay, you know, so thank you. Okay, now, verse 2. Anybody got any questions about this verse? Comments? Okay. Verse 2. Who want to give me verse 2?
But who may abide the day of his coming?
Mm-hmm.
And who shall stand when he appears? For he is like a refiner's fire and like fuller's soap.
Ooh, that's a good one. Go ahead, Elder. What you got on that one?
Talking about the coming of
Now, who's talking there? This is Malachi, right?
This is Malachi.
Right.
Talking about the coming of Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
he's going to come and cast judgment on the Levitical priesthood. He's going to clean house
Mm-hmm.
in the priesthood, but I'm getting ahead.
No, that's okay. Now, I got a question for this one. Now, bear with me, or, come into it. Now, is this verse referring to Jesus' first coming or his second? Okay, well, that's why I'm asking. Remember, when Jesus came first time, he came to save us all. But this right here, he talking about cleaning house, getting rid of the flack, like for anybody who's ever worked in workshop or metals or anything, right? Yeah, you heat it up. You heat it up till it turns molten. The purity of the metal is going to stay there. But all the gunk and the junk, it's going to either harden and fall off, and that's what in this verse is what he's referring to. Like when Jesus come back his second time, he already been here. So he gave us this Bible. So we, unlike then in the Old Testament, we had to rely on the scribes and the Pharisees and the Sadducees, you know, we have the ability to go study ourselves. We don't have to wait until somebody come get us, because somebody may not have got it to us, which, you know, so we don't have that excuse now. But this one is talking about when Jesus come the second time, and they're like, okay, and believe it or not, we all priests. We all priests because we carry the word. We are the church. So if we ain't right, he gonna burn us. He gonna burn the impurities out of us too. So if we ain't right, we ain't going. What we got on that one? Anybody? Okay. Somebody read 3 for me, please. Ooh, that's a good one. I'm glad someone who know got it. Go ahead. Oh, I got to come to you. See, you got to speak like you talking to me, like with some authority and stuff, with some volume. Well, I know that's why. That's what I'm saying. That's why the nice people can't hear you.
So this is saying that we know that this is the second coming of Jesus, of the Lord. So he's going to be sitting, I'm assuming, on his throne or sitting at a table somewhere as a refiner and purifier of silver and gold. A jeweler has special table they sit at when they're doing their work. And since we know that the sons of Levi, they had problems, he's going to start with them first. So he has to purge them and make them as silver and gold that they may offer unto the Lord righteousness, because they weren't doing any righteousness at one point. They had fallen short of the glory of God.
Right. Now, see, this verse is talking about then and now, because then there was the Levites, but see, now we are the caretakers of the church. And as he's talking about a silver, he's speaking in terms where they would understand it, right? But the reality of it is, when God come back, he gonna be putting that heat on us, and he, like I said, he getting rid of the chaff, he getting rid of the impurities. It's gonna be hot, but it's simple. If you pure and righteous in His word, and you keeping it like, okay, you didn't mess up before you came to church, and then you come today. Like you said, you could be good the whole time, but then if you ain't right when He comes, like, oh man, it's too late, you know. But this verse is talking about just that. You know, when God come back, He gonna get Mother Middlebrooks, He gonna get me, He gonna get you, He gonna get us all of us, you know. And if we good, you good. If you not, yes, you got something. I know you do. You got your hand going. What you want to say? Come on, bring it to you. Huh? That's right. That's right. There you go. Now, see, that's what you said. She said He's cleaning us up now. So, and that's why, you know, everybody be telling you, hey, be right now. Don't wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow might be too late. So get right now. And that's what this verse is about. Very good. Thank you, guys. All right. Somebody bring me number 4. Then shall the offering of Judah and Jerusalem be pleasant unto the Lord, as in the days of old, as in former years. So basically what this verse is saying, like, hey, when He come and clean it up, He's talking about Jesus cleaning it up so that we will be worthy to be presented to the Lord. Is that what He's saying? As it was when we hadn't messed up as much, because we've always been messing up. But I don't know. You guys remember when y'all was little? 10 Commandments always got me. You know, they did. Now, you watch the 10 Commandments, boy, you be good for, okay, I'm going to be honest, you be good for at least a week, because it's fresh in you, you know what I'm saying? It's fresh. That reverence, that fear that I want to do right is there. You know, it's fresh in your brain, it's fresh in your action. But then as you go along, you know, whatever, you get to not thinking about it, or, you know, yeah, you get complacent, or you just, hey, I ain't been bad, yeah, but you ain't been good. So you stop focusing on being good, and when you ain't focusing on being good, it's easier for you to do anything else other than be good. You know, well, that's what this verse is talking about, okay? What we got? Anybody? Something? Okay. So, moving on to verse number 5. Somebody?
And I will come near to you to judgment, and I will be a swift witness against sorcerers, against the adulterers,
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm glad you got that one too. Yeah, hey. And you know what I like about it even more? You jumped right in and volunteered for it, so you was ready. You was ready. So give it to us. Share it with us.
When you come back this time,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to be coming as a judge.
Now, who's talking about this now? Now, this is Malachi saying it, but who is he speaking of? This is, yeah. Now, he's speaking of Jesus, right? Because Jesus is God. But he's talking about God. When God come back, go ahead.
He's going to judge. Like I said, he's going to come and judge.
That's
He's
right.
going to be a witness.
Mhm.
So he ain't going to need nobody to. He going to be the witness.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Continue on. I'm double.
Okay.
I'm multitasking. I'm listening to you help us, and I'm coming to see what this young lady wants to.
Court, if you do something wrong, you have witnesses.
Yeah, don't. You write court.
He's going to be a witness.
Yes, ma'am.
And he going to know. He going to already know that you've been wrong. You've been guilty. And he's going to be judged.
That's right.
So you fall into these categories.
That's right. And this verse went ahead, and he didn't name everything, but he tried to give you a list because pretty much, like you being fair to people when you walk down the street and you see the homeless person. Okay, you may not help them, may not want to help them, may not be able to help them. But what feeling do you get in your heart when you see them? Do you place a judgment on them? See, if you're placing the wrong judgment on them, God knows what's in your heart. Even though you ain't said or did nothing, he knows what's in your heart. And he gonna get you for that. All that stuff that we think we got away with and stuff. You ever got caught by your parents and you think you're getting caught for one thing and then they start going down a list like they had some surveillance cameras in the house before all these surveillance cameras came up, and you looking at them like, man, how you know? They never told you, but you paid the price for it, right? If you being mean to a kid, some kids don't have a mother or a father. Now, but you can be a help to them. You can be an inspiration. I know for a fact that some people I've read in my life, and I had good upbringing, but God also sent me other people that could be an example, a positive example for me, So that. But I'm ashamed to say, I used to get mad sometimes. And in my madness, I know I would probably do some stuff. Ain't no probably. I know I did some stuff that I wasn't supposed to be doing. And I repented and felt guilty about it before, and I'm grateful, not that I did it, but I'm grateful that he moved me to where my heart would feel remorse and shame and regret and trying to make amends for what I'd done. But I didn't go out there and do it again. See, that's another thing, too. You can't go out there and do the same thing that you know was wrong or you didn't know was wrong, but then you learn was wrong and then go out there and do it again. Because he gonna forgive you that first time because you didn't know no better. He gonna be more harsh that second and third, however many more times you do it after that because you knew better and you kept on doing it. Okay, so that was a good one though. Yes, indeed. All right, who got number 6 for me? Ooh. Now, this is a tricky one, but that's a good one. Here, I know you got a soft voice. She only got a soft voice when I ain't in trouble.
When I read this verse, my understanding was God was saying, you know what, I'm God. I don't change. I'm always the same. I'm the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And he says, even in your time of rebellion and unfaithfulness, I still am God.
Thank you. That was very good. Now she's right. Now that was a tricky verse. That was a tricky verse because God was declaring that I'm God, and she's right. I'm not going to change. That means I'm not going to sit here and put up with your less than righteousness. But I've already given my word. I'm going to punish y'all, but I ain't going to destroy you. So at the same time, he letting them know, oh, no, you're going to do what I told you to do, or else you're going to get punished. And I don't know why he even got to say this again because Malachi is literally talking to the remnant of the 12 tribes that have been allowed to come back and try to rebuild because he already showed them, y'all didn't stick with me. So I dispersed you. Now I'm allowing y'all to come back. Y'all still ain't getting right. I'm not going to change. I am not going to change. But he gives those I guess the ones, because you ever had that group punishment when everybody get in trouble and you just along with the punishment, but you wasn't the one doing it? That statement at the end where he says, but I'm not going to consume you. You know, that you're not going to be consumed. Yeah. No, he letting them know, like, yeah, you're gonna feel the heat and you're going to have to get punished, but you ain't going to get destroyed. So in that verse, he's letting them know, he letting them know the good, the bad, and the ugly. I am the good. I ain't putting up with no bad, but I'm gonna give you an opportunity to get right again. If you do, you know. So if you caught up with the ones that ain't doing right, you gonna catch it, but you ain't gonna be destroyed. Anybody got anything else for this one? Okay, good. Moving on to, what was that, number 7? Yep, moving on to 7. Don't be shy.
Even from the days of your fathers,
Mm-hmm.
ye are gone away from my ordinances.
Yep.
And have not kept them.
Mm-hmm.
Return unto me, and I will return unto you,
Mm-hmm.
saith the Lord of hosts. But ye said, when shall I return?
Ooh, yeah. Ooh, here I gotta give you a mic for this one, because that's a good one. Because he's right. The guy's sitting there telling us, man, y'all ain't been right for a long time.
Okay. We had to look at where we're coming from. And where we're coming from, it may not be good. So what the Lord is saying is that even from your days of your father, you've been gone away from my ordinances. Where's your praise? Where's your worship? So that's what he said, that they have not kept them. And you follow in that same pattern. Come back to me. He said that come back to me, and if you do these things, I will return back to you. It's a two-way street. If you return to him, he will return to you, and your blessings will be following after that. And he is the Lord of hosts.
Thank you, Elder. I appreciate that. That was a good one. Now, what this verse, as he was explaining, means, like y'all been not getting right since your daddy told you not to get right. Since your daddy was trying to do right or was doing right, either y'all been following in your dad's wrong footsteps, or you ain't been following in his good footsteps. But you want something like the youth of today, some of us old of today. You don't want to put no work in, but you want all the benefits. You don't even want to be right. Forget alone. I ain't even talking about putting any work, which is in and of itself wrong. You got to put in some work. But then you don't put in no work, but you want all the benefits. Then you go talk about the people that's providing you what you're getting that you don't deserve. You double down. And he's saying, man, all you got to do is get on the right foot. Man, stop doing what you're doing. And see, he's talking about now, but in this time, he was talking about the priests. Man, the priests and the people that was giving these sacrifices. Man, they was giving them they were supposed to be giving them the unblemished ones, the best of the best. Man, they was giving them the ones that was going to die if you left them out there tomorrow. They was taking them to the church and like, hey, I gave it to you. And then they was mad about giving those too, so they wasn't happy. They wasn't doing it, like I said, they was doing ceremony. They was not doing in the spirit. And that's what I say, hey, you know, when we come to church, are we coming to church to rejoice and serve and let our light shine and bask in the light of others? Or are we coming here from let's say, from 9 to 12:30 so we can say, hey, I did it? Ask that for yourself, because God already knows. I don't want to know. It ain't my business. But just like in this, are you following ceremony, tradition, or are you carrying on the word? Are you worshiping him? We got the SOP. We got the SOP. You know, but are you coming here like, hey, I got this title, and this and that and everything, and that's carrying me on? No. First of all, God didn't give you that title. Some man did. Some man gave you that title. But God knows what you're doing. God knows what's in your heart. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. But if you put your heart back to God, God ain't never left us, and he never will leave you. But it's like a drowning man in water. You know when you get in the water, well, for those of you who can't swim or whatever, Or if you remember when you couldn't swim and somebody, your kinfolk threw you in that water, you were splashing because you was doing the best you could to save yourself, right? Now that water, you know what that water did? That water got out your way. That water didn't fight you. Now when you got tired, that water came on back in there and embraced you, and you sank down like a rock. Then by the grace of God, somebody said, oh man, Mike going down, I better help him. And they picked you up and they saved you, right? Well, that's what God doing. You ain't acting right. He ain't fighting you. He's like, well, let me get out the way. He got plenty of energy for the wrong thing. Then when you get tired and you going down in his ultimate love and glory and grace, he going to come back and embrace you if you embrace him. That's what this verse is saying. Man, stop acting like you ain't supposed to be acting. Return to me. And you'll get all that goodness that you was getting when you wasn't behaving like you behaving now. Okay? Next verse. Ye are cursed with a curse, for ye have robbed me, even this whole nation. Now, this is continuing on what I was saying. God telling us, like, man, y'all going through the motions, but y'all ain't got the feel. I'm going to come to you because I see you got something good for me. Go ahead. Did I skip 8? I thought I did 8. Oh, no. Thank you. Go ahead and give us 8. It was getting good to me, Elder. I'm just. Mm-hmm.
Yet ye have robbed me.
Mm-hmm.
But ye say, wherein have we robbed thee? In the tithes and offerings.
Okay, there you go. What you got? Take 8 and 9, because since I jumped ahead on 9, and you got me on the right track again with 8. They connected. Go ahead.
Okay, like you touched it earlier when you spoke of how they were bringing the leftovers and the offerings, that they were supposed to be bringing things without spot, blemish, or wrinkle to present to present as burnt offerings, but they were bringing anything. So that's partly how they robbed God, but also they robbed God in their service. And going back to 7, the one thing we left off is the question that they asked God, wherewith shall we return? Shall we go back the same way we were, or should we go back differently?
Now, he's referring to chapter 2, verse 17, correct, sir?
No, I'm referring to verse 7, the latter part of verse 7.
Oh, okay.
See, we left that off because man, with all his infinite wisdom in himself, because he has this free will, always ask the wrong question.
I like how you said that, though, right? When you said man, his infinite wisdom, because I like that because I understand what you meant.
Man thinks more highly of himself than he ought to.
Say the word. Man, arrogant. He is. He arrogant. Everybody know what arrogant is, don't you?
Okay, and he dropped number 9 on me.
Yep.
Ye are cursed with a curse, for ye have robbed me, even in thy whole nation.
That's right.
So when going back to verse number, I believe it was 7, where he spoke of Jacob, he called Jacob. When he called Jacob, he's referring to not just Jacob himself, but the whole generation that came from Jacob. So all 12 tribes that were founded in Jacob. But I can't leave off his sisters, because there was daughters born in that. He was speaking to everybody because everybody decided to do what they wanted to do, not what God instructed them to do.
Thank you. Now, see, he brought all that home in his last sentence. Everybody did what they wanted to do instead of what God instructed them to do. Just like God is all Father, so I'll put it in that context. When your parents told you to do something, they don't want to hear no excuses, no attaboys, alibis, or whatever. Move out, draw fire, and comply. Obey. That's it. That is it. But like you said, boy, we always trying to find that loophole. I wasn't trying to find no loophole. My mom was too. That one was dangerous. But you're right. And as he said, the scripture was referring to Jacob because the 12 tribes came to Jacob. Now, where are we at? We back out of exile. We don't even know if all the tribes made it back. Some of them didn't, remember? They didn't, right? So, but he's referring, it's like the remnant, you know, we still acting up. We still acting up. Because like he said, we think too highly of ourselves. And then we ask the wrong question. Now, that verse that I was talking about, which is, like I said, Malachi chapter 2, verse 17. Let me pull it up here real quick, and I'll share it with y'all. Because as usual, when man get put on the spot, he try to throw it back at you like he's smart. Here we go. Malachi chapter 2, verse 17, because this is what Malachi is referring to those guys too, because they asked him, ye have wearied the Lord with your words, yet ye say, wherein have we wearied him? See? In other words, you know what you did, but you guys go, well, what did I do? You know what you did. Why you asking me? You know, well, seriously, you know what you did. Why you asking? Okay? When ye say, everyone that doeth evil is good in the sight of the Lord, and he delighteth in them, or where's the God of judgment? See, they trying to be smart. They was trying to be slick. They know that's the word. Now that's arrogance for you. You caught me stealing, and you asked me why you asked me what I got. I'm trying to change it around like you did something wrong because you caught me wrong. That's man for you. And I can't understand why we got the hubris to call ourselves going to challenge God or the messenger of God on what we know we doing wrong. Well, that's something, isn't it? And even with all that, God still loves us. Because you know if somebody else do that to you, you taking them out your contact book, you're blocking their number, you're ducking down. You might even drive around a different route, so you basically don't want to hear, see, or remember that person ever again in your life. Thank goodness God is God. He said all we gotta do is just stop acting wrong and go to acting right. And he'd be like, okay, come on back home. You know. Yep. Now, verse 10, somebody. Poor.
Out the blessings, that there shall not be reason enough room enough to receive it.
Oh, that's a good one. So what's that one telling you? Okay, she say she don't know, and that's fine. Come on, somebody. Come on, church, let's help her out.
Well, the people with the tithes was been taking care of the Levitical priesthood, and they weren't doing right doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So they were wrong for that from the beginning. So if you're not taking care of God's house, then you're not following the ordinances and the statutes and the laws of for the people.
Mm-hmm.
And so the house will be affected. But if you do pay your tithes and offerings,
Mm-hmm.
come before you got a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
Bless you being obedient, taking care of God's house.
Mm-hmm. Okay. This verse is basically God telling him, man, bring me all the stuff you're supposed to be. Do what you. Long story short, God tell him, bring me all the stuff and do what you're supposed to be doing. I challenge you. You do what you're supposed to be doing and see if I don't give you all this stuff that I was giving you in the past, that I told you I was going to give you in the future, and then I did give you until you started doing what you're doing now. You say, you want to call me out? You do your part. I've been doing my part. I'm holding back because you ain't doing your part. But since you want to call me out, you show me yours, I'll show you mine. See? Yes, sir. Hold up, let me bring it to you.
One thing good about this verse that I like is that God is saying, prove me.
Yeah, prove me wrong.
Prove me. If you do this, I'll show you what I can do for you. That's what he's telling us.
Which is funny. You're right, but which is funny because God, once again, he's throwing him on the spot like, well, show me. See, y'all show me what y'all did, but hey, y'all got y'all's history, fathers, and teachers to show you because I did this. I brought you out of slavery. I let you come back. I'm letting you build the temple again. You know, I spared you. I this, and I that, and that. And y'all still acting out. you know, and he's right. So God called him out. You know, you want to say I ain't did this? Well, okay, show me what you done did. Better yet, go ahead and do it now because you ain't been doing it. So go ahead and do it. You know, he's literally saying, hey, you know, why don't you do what you know you're supposed to be doing, should have been doing, you ain't been doing. How about if you do it now? And then as soon as you do that, he didn't even give him a time limit. He just said, do it. He said, you do that and I'll do this. What you got? Oh, okay. Anything else? Okay. So I guess the moral of this Sunday school lesson is, as usual, God sends a messenger. I mean, it could be your sister. It could be a kid. It could be a child. You know, the elder gave an example. The Messiah was in church, holding church, so to speak. And the learned people, the old people, the wise people, they dumbfounded and baffled because everything he said was the truth. And they was trying to figure out how he knew it. It's like, well, wait a minute. Not only do he know it, why are you guys not applying it? And he did a mic drop on it. Boom. He spoke the truth. They knew it was the truth. They, instead of them seeing what was right before their eyes, they once again, man, how you know? Somebody come help you. Oh, hey, man, I want you to do this. Man, you needed help. I ain't asked no questions. I'm just bringing you what you need. And now you're going to question and have some trouble and issues with how I helped you. That's that arrogance again. That's that arrogance. Well, that completes Sunday school. Anybody got any questions? Thank you guys for y'all's participation. I'll take a break.